In the headlines, Independent National Electoral Commission says no election in 240 polling units registered voters. Again, gunmen attack court in Imo State. Senator gives recipe for ending banditry in the Northwest. Away from Nigeria, death toll from Turkey-Syria quake crosses 36,000 as calls mount for more Syria aid. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I am Ayuba Ila. Thanks for joining. And now the details. The Independent National Electoral Commission says that the forthcoming general elections will not hold in 240 polling units across the 28 states and the Federal Capital Territory for not having registered voters. The INEC chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu, at a meeting with the national leaders of political parties in Abuja on Monday, said that the February and March election will now hold in 176,606 polling units instead of 176,846 polling units nationwide. Noel Samson, who was at the venue of the meeting, has more.
Yakubu recalled that in 2021, the Commission successfully expanded the number of polling units from 119,973 to the current figure of 176,846. He said that efforts were also made to distribute voters to the polling units in order to avoid the congestion that made voting cumbersome in many of the polling units nationwide.
There are 240 polling units without registered voters spread across 28 states and the Federal Capital Territory. They range from 1 polling unit to 12 polling units in each state and the FCT, except Taraba and Imo states with 34 and 38 polling units respectively. No new registrants choose the polling units and no voters indicated interest to transfer to them during the last continuous voter registration exercise, mainly for security reasons. From the feedback we received from our officials and accredited voters following the recent nationwide mock accreditation using the BVAS, it is clear that some voters could not easily identify their polling units. This must not happen on election day. Consequently, the Commission is advising voters to confirm the locations of their polling units through a dedicated portal linked to our website. In addition, all voters who have been assigned to new polling units will receive text messages from the Commission indicating their polling units. We have also compiled the register of such voters, and our state offices will give it wide publicity, especially for those who may not have provided their telephone numbers during voter registration or those whose numbers may have changed.
The National Chairman, Inter-Party Advisory Council IPAC, Yabagi Sani, appealed to INEC to ensure that general election hold as scheduled. Sani would reaffirm the Council's confidence in the leadership of INEC for its consistent demonstration of diligence, urged the Commission to make the general elections credible.
2023 general elections seemingly will be a watershed in the history of elections in Nigeria. Today, the tide has changed because an unknown party could pull a surprise to the greatest chagrin of all. From this point of view, it is necessary to advise INEC to keep its date with history, which must not be wasted.
Meanwhile, the United States Assistant Secretary of State for Bureau of African Affairs, Molly Fee, and the U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Beth Leonard, have visited the Commission's headquarters, where the Assistant Secretary of State restated the importance of having a peaceful election.
I do want to make clear that the United States does not back any candidate or party. We back the process. We back democracy.
On the ongoing electionary campaigns, Yakubu expressed INEC concerns about the violent attacks on supporters of political parties across board and appealed to the leaders of political parties to continue to call their candidates and supporters to order. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Social Democratic Party presidential candidate Adewale Adebayo has promised to prioritize the unity of Nigeria for the purpose of ensuring true progressive country if elected. The SDP presidential candidate stated this at the Emir's Palace in Lafia, Nasarawa State during his community-to-community campaign to the state. Abubakar Abdullahi sent in the report as presented from our studio.
The Social Democratic Party presidential candidate Adewale Adebayo, in company of the National and Nasarawa State Exco, as well as party supporters, went round some strategic points in Lafia, the state capital. Addressing the gathering, the presidential candidate says renewing the 1993 manifesto of the party that late MKO Abiola contested on. Adebayo noted that the Hope 93 manifesto gives priority to the unity and progress of Nigeria. He added that the party in recent times has again studied the causes of Nigeria's division and forecast solutions that will be implemented for the country's progress and economic prosperity.
But our approach to Nigeria unity is not mere verbiage. We have studied what makes people to be divided. We realize that it's artificial scarcity. When the elite steal all the money and there's nothing left for social welfare, for education, for other investment, then people will be divided. When you are supposed to create 1 million spaces in federal government colleges, you only create 80,000 spaces. You are making children to compete. Then an 11-year-old is now thinking, oh, I'm from Borno, I'm from Anambra, I'm from Ondo. But if you make things work, that's why you don't hear, have you ever heard that Nigerians are fighting over oxygen and they are allocating oxygen according to the religion? Because oxygen is abundant. So all we need to do is to make other things of life more abundant and people will not be struggling along divisions.
The Nasarawa State governorship candidate of the party, Mustapha Inyas, on his part, said if people of the state give him the mandate to pilot the state's affairs, he will work towards liberating the state by changing the narrative in different sectors of the economy of the state.
What I intend to do for the people of Nasarawa State is to change the narration of education of Nasarawa State by declaring state of emergency in the primary education, pay the teachers of the primary school highest salary than any other person, build them houses and mortgage, also buy them cars, also buy them bikes and motorcycles in higher purchase.
Receiving the SDP delegation, Emir of Lafia, C.D. Baige, said as custodians of the people, traditional rulers will continue to allow their subjects to choose among politicians whom they want to lead them.
As fathers of the land, we try as much as we can to remain neutral, appetite, and the culture of what is going on, so that we don't lean too much one side.
The SDP presidential candidate spent 2 days moving around communities and traditional rulers' palaces canvassing for votes.
New Nigeria People's Party and the All Progressives Congress are trading words over campaign violence in Kano State. Addressing a news conference, State Chairman of the NNPP, Haruna Doguwa, urged security agencies to call the ruling APC to order to ensure violence-free campaign activities. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports.
Addressing reporters over what he called harassment and intimidation of his party supporters and officials, Chairman of the New Nigeria People's Party in Kano, Haruna Doguwa, accused the ruling APC of promoting violence campaign ahead of the February 25th and March 11th elections.
With the election drawing closer by the day, Kano State government is faced with the reality of imminent defeat at the poll. It has therefore devised a devilish means of manipulating election through attack and intimidation of members of the opposition parties, using primarily political thugs and some police personnel who ordinarily ought to be apolitical in the discharge of their responsibility. 11 days after the unfortunate attack on the country home of one of our leading members, who served as Director of Intelligence and Strategy, Barrister Muhimaga Jidimungado, which occurred at Trimungado local government after the visit of our gubernatorial candidate, Abba Kabir Yusuf, the police were seen raiding his Sharaɗa residence again at around 9:30 p.m. on Tuesday 7th.
But a statement released by the APC gubernatorial campaign spokesman Muhammad Garba says his party is fully committed to peaceful campaigning, unlike the opposition NNPP, which he says is resorting to violence. According to the New Nigeria People's Party, however, supporters of the All Progressive Congress have repeatedly attacked their supporters and intimidated several members of the party, especially during their campaign rallies across the state.
The police who failed to receive and treat the complaint of NNPP members of Dambata, Take, and Mokoro government have now resorted to harassment and intimidation of our members, including some candidates of the party, campaign spokespersons, social media activists, and the Director General of the campaign, Dr. Ali Abubakar Ali Haruna Makoda. We are not unaware of the plans by the APC-led administration in Kano State to frame our members in the build-up to election in order to intimidate them and pave way for election rigging.
Be that as it may, these political parties have tasks to accomplish and electoral promises to deliver if they are to gain the confidence of the electorate in Kano, who will head to the polls in few days' time. Idris Jubrain, Trust TV News, Kano.
The Presidential Campaign Council of Atiku Okowa in Rivers State has cancelled the rally scheduled for February 14, 2023. Senator Lee Meba, who spoke on behalf of the Campaign Council in Port Harcourt on Monday, said that the rally will no longer hold in Rivers because of security reasons. Meba said that the party's presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, informed the team that he does not want any bloodshed in Rivers State, hence the decision to cancel the rally. Recall that last week, chairman of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council in Rivers, Abie Sekibo, was attacked in Port Harcourt. The People's Democratic Party PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar on Monday commended the Department of State Services DSS for inviting Femi Fani-Kayode, the Special Projects and New Media Director of the Tinubu-Shettima Presidential Campaign Council PCC, is expected to substantiate his comment about Atiku and the military. Fani-Kayode had alleged that he had a secret meeting recently mentioning a possible coup plot ahead of the general elections. The Defense Headquarters condemned the claim. A statement by the Atiku's Special Assistant on Public Communications, Frank Saibu, has called on the DSS to carry out a thorough probe. Shaibu stated that the former Minister of Aviation cannot be acting alone in the claim, since he is the spokesman for the presidential candidate of the APC, Bola Tinubu. And on security matters, gunmen on Sunday night attacked the Oguta High Court in Oguta local government area of Imo State. The attack is coming less than a week after a judge of magistrate court was killed while in court session. The hoodlums, it was gathered, arrived at the premises of the court around 11:30 p.m. and rained bullets on the facility. The High Court is located inside the premises of the headquarters of the local government. The Registry, Appeal Court, Record Office, File Room, Secretary to the High Court Judge's Office, Office of the High Court Bailiff, and the Chamber of the High Court Judge were affected. The sole administrator of the Oguta local government area of Philly Ijoma, who confirmed the incident to journalists, said that the arson had been reported to the police, who were yet to issue a statement on the incident. Now, Justice Obiora Egutu of the Federal High Court, Abuja, on Monday adjourned till 14th of February for the ruling on the bail application filed by the Ali Bello, a nephew to the Kogi State Governor, and 3 others on an alleged 3 billion naira fraud charge brought against them by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. Justice Egutu had on February 8 adjourned for ruling on the bail application filed by the defendants after they had pleaded not guilty to the 18-count charge. At the day's sitting, counsel to the defendants, Ahmed Raji, told the court that the EFCC had filed a counter-affidavit to the bail application, but Justice Egutu, who was notified that the counter-affidavit was filed on Friday, February 10th, making it impossible for them to reply, however, noted that there are no copies of the counter-affidavit in his record. Counsel to the EFCC told the court that the counter-affidavit was mistakenly filed before another judge, hence the case was adjourned to Tuesday, February 14. You're watching the news update on Trust Television. Coming up shortly. Lagos orders coroner's inquest into death of student. Details of this and more after the break. Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening.
Now looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130.
Created a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the
really, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. This is the news update on Trust Television. Let's take a look at the top stories again. Independent National Electoral Commission says no election in 240 polling units registered voters. Again, gunmen attack court in Imo State. Moving on, former senator representing Zamfara Central Senatorial District between 1999 and 2007, Saidu Muhammad Ansado said failure to prosecute and sanction criminals is responsible for the wave of banditry in the state and parts of the Northwest. Senator Ansado, who appeared on Trust TV program 30 Minutes, however, says that sustained military offensive against the bandits is raising hopes that normalcy will return to the troubled region.
When the situation got so bad, we now resort to prayers. We said all Jumu'at mosques, all daily, five daily prayer mosques should be praying every morning from Salat Subuh up to the early morning prayers, you know, up to the time sun rises. And then after Maghrib prayer, people should remain in mosques, read the Holy Quran, do repentance, istighfar, up to the time of Isha prayer. As God will have it, within just 6 days, the leader of the bandit in the whole area called for a meeting and directed that no bandit should kidnap anybody, not to come killing anybody. So in a nutshell, they had that meeting on 16th August 2021. And since then, for good 1 year, only 7 people were killed. And only 2 motorcycles, you know, were confiscated by the bandit.
Watch the full interview on Trust TV on Monday by 7:30 p.m. Now, an early morning fire has destroyed a 3-bedroom apartment and 3 shops in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. The fire incident, which occurred at Ilorin West local government area of Kwara State, destroyed property worth 18.2 million naira. Now, the fire was reportedly caused by a power surge, according to the spokesman of the State Fire Service, Hassan Adekunle, in Ilorin on Monday. Hassan said that though the blaze was huge, the firefighters were able to demonstrate a high level of professionalism and in no time extinguished it. He said that the surrounding area was also damped to stop a further escalation. Director of Kwara State Fire Service, Prince Falade John Olumuyiwa, urged the residents to always cultivate the habit of switching off their electrical appliances before bedtime. 5 members of a family were on Sunday feared dead in an auto crash along the Lagos-Badagry Expressway when a Toyota Sienna rammed into a truck parked on the roadside. The accident, which occurred on Sunday night, claimed the lives of a father, mother, and their children. The unit commander, Federal Road Safety Corps Commission, Badagry Suleiman Taiwo, said that the accident occurred around Agemo Buhari Estate, Badagry, Lagos. According to Taiwo, a Toyota Sienna conveying the family of 5 was coming from Agbara when it rammed into a Volvo truck. The unit commander, who said that the driver of the car rammed into the stationary truck due to poor visibility, appealed to the Lagos State government and well-meaning Nigerians to provide towing vehicle for the command in Badagry. The Lagos State government has ordered a coroner's inquest to ascertain the cause of death in the case of Whitney Adenira, a 12-year-old student of Chrisland School who died last Thursday. A statement from the Public Affairs Unit of the State's Ministry of Justice stated that the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Moyosore Onibanjo, SAN, gave the directive on Monday, noting that a thorough investigation will be carried out to ascertain the cause of the death. The Lagos State Ministry of Education on Monday ordered the temporary closure of Chrisland School, or Pebi Ikeja, following the reported death of Adeyemi. Now, a release signed by the State Commissioner for Education, Folashade Adefisayo, said that the closure was ordered pending the outcome of a full investigation into the unfortunate incident. Adefisayo, on behalf of the State Ministry of Education, commiserated with the parents of Whitney and prayed for the repose of her soul. Now, away from Nigeria, rescuers continue to pull out more survivors from the rubble in Turkey and Syria as the death toll from last week's earthquake topped 36,000. The quakes have killed at least 31,643 people in Turkey as of Monday and more than 4,500 in Syria. The United Nations says up to 5.3 million people in Syria may be homeless after the earthquake. Nearly 900,000 people are in urgent need of hot food in Turkey and Syria. World Health Organization Director General Tedros stressed the need to take response to the next level to reach all populations who require support.
God bless them, we are given food and other aid. They have helped us a lot, but unfortunately we don't have toilets here. And I have recently undergone an operation, and the quake hit soon after. As a family, we want to live here. I lost my 2 sisters, brother and my mother in the quake. Most of my family is gone. Save us from here. We don't have anywhere to go. I don't know how we will get out of here.
It's heartbreaking, the damage and the impact on the people. And we have just come today with some supplies and look forward to continue to support.
A Ugandan court on Monday granted bail to 2 opposition lawmakers who had been in jail for nearly 18 months after being charged for murders by machete-wielding gangs. The 2 men, Muhammad Segirinya and Alan Sesewanyana, were charged in September 2021 with 3 counts of murder and 1 count of attempted murder following an investigation into the killings in the central region of Masaka. Police accused the pair of orchestrating a killing spree that saw thugs hack to death up to 39 mainly elderly villagers in their homes at night in just 2 months. The lawmakers belong to the opposition National Unity Platform of pop star turned politician Bobi Wine, who challenged President Yoweri Museveni in a disputed election in January 2021. On Monday, the pair were released from jail after paying a cash bail of 20 million shillings, Ugandan shillings, an equivalent of $5,460 each. And in sports news, Nigeria's Flying Eagles will arrive Cairo, Egypt on Thursday ahead of the 2023 Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations. Now, the competition will start on Sunday with host Egypt taking on debutants Mozambique in the opening match at the Cairo International Stadium. The Flying Eagles will also take on the junior Teranga Lions of Senegal on the same day. The Ladan Bosso side are currently in Casablanca, Morocco for the final lap of their preparations for the biennial competition. The West Africans, who defeated Congo 2-1 in a friendly on Sunday night, will take on Central African Republic in their final friendly on Wednesday. Having won the competition 7 times in the past, the Nigerian boys will be aiming for an 8th title in Egypt. And that's it for the news update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube live stream. I am Ayuba. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.